In this video, I want to take a look at the technicals of Bitcoin and try to see if there are any signs that could indicate that we have already bottomed out or that we are very near the bottom. I'll show you 5 signs and I would love to hear what you guys think about these signs. And if you think that that sounds interesting, then I think that you should definitely watch this video. Hello guys and welcome to the moon. My name is Carl and I'm ready to bring you this cryptocurrency video. And let me start off with showing you these signs that we are at the bottom or that we have seen the bottom. There are a few things that would indicate that we very well could have already seen the bottom. And I believe the first thing I want to show you is of course the 200 weekly moving average that we actually bounced very nicely off of, as you can see. And we have seen these moving averages on the weekly time frame hold a lot of significance. We've seen the 50-week, for example, hold as support and then resistance. And we have seen the 20, for example, hold as support throughout this whole bull market. And then it actually acted as resistance throughout the bear market here. And yeah, so we have seen a very clear bounce off of it. And taking out the log chart, we can see that back in the previous bear market, that's actually where we bottomed out. So if we were to replicate the same type of price action as we saw back then, well, it would make sense that we're actually bottoming out on the same moving average, this 200 weekly one. So that's sign number 1. And then we can also take out the EMA ribbon on the monthly chart. So now we're taking the very long term. The previous one was the weekly chart with the moving averages. Now I'm bringing out the monthly chart with the EMA, so the exponential moving averages. And we have the same thing going on here, that we actually bottomed out in that general territory back in the previous bear market. And right now we have actually seen Bitcoin come down and get a wick below it here on the monthly chart, but we seem to have defended the lows of this ribbon and we are currently above it. And we did see how this ribbon actually initially gave Bitcoin some support, but then after actually breaking through the top of the ribbon, we saw it fall down all the way down to the bottom. And yeah, now we've actually seen us defend the bottom of it. So to me, this could also be a sign that we are at the bottom or that we have seen the bottom. And as you can see, we actually bottomed out on this ribbon in the last bear market. And the third sign is actually the big $100 billion market cap line over on the total market cap, and the fact that we actually defended that very key big support level. So here we go. This is the $100 billion level in the total market cap, and we can see a very clear bounce off of it right there. We came down to the almost exact number, and to me it looks like we truly defended that level. And this shows some resilience and some strength off of that level. And I think that it is a big psychological level, of course, but also a big technical level. If we just zoom out like this, before we saw the beginning of this big bull run, right here, the first little bump here, you can see that we actually got some resistance on the $100 billion line. We briefly went above it and then we saw resistance, we got rejected, came down again. But then when we actually broke through, that's when we truly saw the total market cap of the crypto markets take off. So it was a resistance zone here in the beginning. So technically it should be a big support zone as well. And that's exactly what we saw happen here as we bounced off it. So those are 3 signs. And I think that the 4th sign, and that is more of a fundamental, and the fact that people are very bearish. I've seen an extreme change in sentiment in YouTube comments, in Twitter comments, and pretty much everywhere. And people are just simply very bearish. And it's actually the exact opposite of what we saw back here when Bitcoin was going up and every day we saw new all-time highs. Because in the past few weeks we've seen just new lows. And after every single low we see people predict even lower prices. Just like back here when Bitcoin went up even more, we saw people exaggerate more and more. So the predictions became ridiculous. People started to think that Bitcoin was going to $100,000, maybe even higher than that in a few months and stuff like that. And that was a clear sign that we were topping out. The market was euphoric. Now we have the exact same thing, but to the opposite side. We are seeing the opposite of euphoria. We're seeing people being extremely bearish. And as we have been going lower and lower, people have been calling for even lower prices. So we started to see people talk about $3,000. We saw people start talking about 2.4K, 1.4K. Now $800 people started to talk about, and even lower than that. And that should be a clear clear sign that we are bottoming out, because the big majority of people always has to be wrong, and it seems like in the past few weeks most people have been expecting Bitcoin to go even lower and actually go down to maybe 2,000 or maybe even lower than that, just like most people expected us to go up to 30,000, 50,000, 60,000. So back here we were clearly overbought. Right now we're clearly oversold in my opinion, and I think the sentiment is what tells me that that's the case. And the fifth sign is actually here on the weekly chart, and we bring out the RSI. We can actually see that we bottomed out right there on the 30 level in the RSI. And if we scroll back into the previous bear market, we can see that that is exactly where we bottomed out in 2014, then 15. What do you think about these signs, guys? Please comment down below. Leave your thoughts about these signs. Maybe you have any other signs that I missed. Please comment down below and we can have a discussion about that. And you can also vote in this poll. Have we bottomed out, yes or no? Thank you very much for voting. And let me go to the Coinbase chart. So the quick little update I want to make here is that it looks like we did get a little bit of resilience and some resistance off of this level right there, the $4,170 level. And back here we did see some support off of that line, and when we broke it, that's when we saw this big sell-off to the downside. And so we see this level actually act as some form of resistance, and right now I would probably call this the last high. So if Bitcoin makes another push to the upside, I think that this level is going to be the big test before being able to reach any higher prices. And I still believe that we are going to see a correction soon. And let's see if we can reach our target before seeing the correction. But just like I've said in previous videos, I don't believe that it's necessarily the case that we are going to. We could be reversing just like this. But if we bring out the EMA ribbon on the 4 hourly, we can see that we did here in the short term get supported by the 4 hourly. And that gave us a last push here up towards through this resistance zone that we talked about in yesterday's video. And so yeah, we did see some support, but Bitcoin has currently not been able to push through the last highs. So let's see if I feel like we are seeing signs that we are topping out here in the short term. And I mean, the daily EMA ribbon is a very strong resistance, and it is coming down here and giving us some problems. So that is definitely worth noting. And just like I've said previously, I think that this is the important resistance up here, and that's in the approximate level of 4,360 approximately. And then down here is the important support, which is at the approximate level of $3,600. So if we see the correction start, I think that we are going to go down to this level, and that would be the important one. And if we see one last push to the upside, I don't think we're going above this level in the short term. There's simply too much resistance in these regions. And yeah, so breaking through here right now is just not likely, and we probably need a big correction before being able to gather the momentum and the fuel to be able to actually break through this very key resistance level. And over on CoinMarketCap, we can see that the altcoins have had a nice surge in the last couple of days. We've seen the Bitcoin dominance go all the way down to 52.4%. And one of the big names that has led the way is Ethereum, up 16.3% in the last 24 hours. And I'll do a quick little TA on Ethereum in a minute, and we'll see a few other names. I mean, most of the altcoins are up quite significantly here. We can go to the Bitcoin comparative and give a better, clearer view of which ones are up. And you can see that the altcoins have done fairly well in the last couple of days. So for a change, I guess that's nice to see. And let's take a look at Ethereum. And what I've said about Ethereum is that we have seen a very clear bullish divergence on Ethereum. You can see something like this. And in the RSI, we've seen this going on. So a bullish divergence calling for a trend reversal. And right now, arguably, we have seen Ethereum getting its fair share of that bullish price action. And it actually broke through the previous high right there. So that's very bullish for Ethereum. And I did not expect this move to be this violent to the upside, but Ethereum truly has seen a very nice move to the upside right now. And I also usually take a look at the EMA ribbon for the altcoins. And what we can see here is that we did see Ethereum come down very low, far away from the ribbon. And we have seen this ribbon act as resistance previously. Right now we have come up all the way to the top of the ribbon, which could indicate that we are at the top of this move for Ethereum right now. I'm on the dollar chart, so this is Ethereum compared to the US dollar. And basically when you look at Ethereum, every single time for this whole bear market, or ever since May, we've seen the Ethereum EMA ribbon actually act as resistance, and we've not been able to actually break through it. The last time was back in April, and when we broke through it, that led to a big bull run in Ethereum, where Ethereum went all the way from $560 all the way up to $800. So yeah, let's see if Ethereum can break through this ribbon, because if we do, then previous price action would suggest that we're probably going to see a nice bull run. But as you can see, the last time we tried, we actually got rejected, and that resulted in another sell-off. So if we do see Ethereum sell off back down again, we have a very clear support level down here to watch. That is the 83 level. We actually got a double bottom off of that level, so this should be a huge level, and that's nice to have a very clear support level to watch. And this was the important level we actually broke, which was the previous high. And let's see if maybe Ethereum could come down and get some price strength confirmation off of that level. That could let Ethereum get the momentum needed to actually break through the ribbon. So that's something that we could be watching. But if we break down below it again, I would probably just say that we're this move is probably just over and we're coming back down again. And by the way, thank you very much guys for all of your very nice comments on my video from yesterday. And if you haven't seen my video from yesterday, you should watch it. I talk about the world economy and the stock market. I truly appreciate these nice comments and the fact that you actually enjoy listening to me talk about the world economy. And generally, I just wanted to thank you guys for being my subscribers. And if you enjoy my content and you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. And also, I want to just announce the fact that in the next couple of weeks, maybe I'm not going to make as elaborate and as long of a videos I usually make, because I'm going to try to take a little bit of a time off, but I'm still going to try to make a video every day. But maybe the schedule might be a little bit weird. Maybe I'll make a video a lot later or a lot shorter, or yeah, but I will always try to make sure that you get a video to watch. But this is it for this video guys, and if you want to click my awesome BitMEX tutorial, watch it if you haven't seen it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.